Hey, this is Rob Van Dam.
And Katie Forbes.
And you are watching Long Island's #1 wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey.
Released a remembering the patriotic smackdown of 9/11, where Vince McMahon puts together, probably the first sporting event returning off of that.
It was
horrid situation.
It was the first event post 9/11. Yep.
And thoughts on Vince and what he did for this country at that time?
Well, as usual, and I am a huge backer of Vince McMahon. I grew up watching Vince McMahon's products and watching Vince McMahon's father's product. I thought that, as usual, Vince McMahon stepped up to the plate after 9/11, made a great speech, very inspiring speech, And Vince McMahon is another one who's one of a kind. One of a kind. Hey, I think there's a song in there somewhere.
Look at you playing into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great moment, and it's guys like Vince who made sure that the wheel kept rolling. I thought it was a great moment.
His speech was incredible. Anyway, once we get out of commercial break, we'll ask Rob about that and quite a few other things. But anyway, I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monty and the Pharaoh, our own Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band to Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page, Spotify, Apple Music, and download their music from Reverb Nation. In case you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, and you can catch this great show on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube page after we come off suspension. I'm going to keep saying it because, again, my civil liberties have been attacked and denied. And being a former veteran of this country, I do, and my wife will correct me when I say veteran, I don't appreciate that one bit.
Nor should you.
Catch the Monty and the Pharaoh on the Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monty and the Pharaoh Twitch TV page. Also, if you live in New York, catch us on New York Cable every Tuesday, from 7 p.m. to 7:30 on Channel 115, which has been changed to 9:30 prime time because of the great following we have of the show. And for early risers, 6 a.m. to 6:30. Also, catch us on late night Channel 20 from 2 a.m. to 2:30. We're going to get right to this with Hall of Famer, pro wrestling great.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable, probably a damn good human being, Mr. Rob Van Dam.
We shall return.
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com.
Elm Logistics, for all your logistic needs. Call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships. And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, filmed and produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, Long Island, where we have Mr. Rob Van Dam. Rob, thank you for joining us. Unbelievable.
Right on, guys.
Rob, I don't know where you stand with Vince McMahon. I believe you were part of that 9/11 show, that when you guys came back. Do you have any thoughts or any remembrances about that show?
Yes, I was, actually, and I do. They were just filming, when they were here, or not here. I live in Las Vegas. I forgot I'm not home right now. But when SummerSlam was in Las Vegas, they were doing a documentary on the first show after the tragedy, and I was booked on it. And I don't know what happened a couple days before, and they said, "Oh, sorry, we're not going to be doing that." And then I see they're doing the show anyway. So I guess I got knocked off. Probably, with the COVID, everything changed. They're trying to have as few people in the building at all times. I didn't even go to SummerSlam. I wanted to, but it was because of that, you know. But so it's cool to be asked about that, because I was looking forward to being on the show and talking about that. It was a hell of a time that I won't forget, you know. For me, I was traveling with Mike Awesome, and we were in San Antonio the night before. I had a hookup with the Marriott, big buffet, sweet room. You know, I had a hookup for both of us. Mike called me in the morning and, Rob, turn on the TV. We're under attack. You know, and I turned it on, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I saw I guess it was the second tower going down, and we were both like, whoa, you know, what's going on? But we had no idea how big that was at the time, you know. I mean, I guess we're so used to, like, dealing with it, rolling with the punches, you know, like, I mean, that's what you have to do in general, but this was something that affected the whole world way more than we realized. We ended up checking out, driving all the way to Houston, where the show was supposed to be that night, and then, of course, the show was canceled, and then we were stranded in Houston for the rest of the week. We would have definitely rather been trapped in San Antonio with the sweet hookup that I had and everything, but we didn't know. And man, we were all stuck at the same hotel in Houston. A bunch of the wrestlers hanging out by the pool, you know, frequenting the same restaurants or whatever, and we were kind of like just in a holding pattern, you know. When we ended up having the show, you know, a few days, 3-4 days later, whatever it was, I don't remember exactly. My thought was, no. Like, the very first live attended show after the attack, what better place to send a message to America than blowing up an arena full of wrestling fans? I mean, what's more American than that in WWE? So live, you know. So I thought, I was concerned. I thought there was a good chance we were going to be attacked again right there, live. Everyone's going to watch, you know, thousands of people dying, whatever. But, you know, we did the show, and afterwards we were still afraid to fly, though, you know. And Teddy Long was the first one to fly out that I knew about. And I remember, you know, like, we couldn't wait to call him when he got home. You know, how was it? You know, you made it all the way? I thought he was crazy for flying. I really did, you know. And he was like, hey, first flight available I could get on. And I was just like, man, I don't know. I drove. I was with my evil ex at the time, who had some relatives in Oklahoma. And we ended up, you know, driving out of there. But for the longest time, it was very, very scary. It made you so aware to go through the process of traveling via airplane after that. And we all talked about it. I remember having a conversation with Lance Storm. We were just talking about our own perspectives, and he was saying at that time that every time he leaves the house, he kisses his kids goodbye and his wife goodbye, like he might not see him again. Like, that's how much we were committed to the business and to our life. We felt like, hey, this is life as we know it, so we're going to continue on. And if, you know, if my plane doesn't make it to its destination tonight, you know, damn, I don't want that to happen. But if that's the way the story goes, that's what happens, because we are wrestlers, you know, then that was something that we were going to have to face. And we all thought every time we got on an airplane, we might be facing it. And we eyeballed anybody with a towel on their head, or anybody with, you know, skin color that was a little darker. It was always like, okay, I'm going to sleep with one eye open just in case, you know, because we didn't know. We were all like involved in the hype, and obviously that was a crazy, crazy, terrible thing that happened.
Well, I got to tell you, I love the honesty, right? Because someone could just say, hey, look, I knew I had to do this, and I had to whatever, but, you know, obviously everybody was fearful. I was flying at that time too, and I had the same problems, right? Looking and eyeballing people that you thought might be weird. And what did you think about Vince McMahon Jr. and his addressing the United States and his commitment to getting everything back to normal?
Respect for Vince. I think that he's a great leader, you know, and I would definitely not be qualified to be in his position to make decisions. I mean, you know, obviously he gets a lot of heat. A lot of people throw the weight on him for what happens with a lot of individual wrestlers and their lives. That's the position that he's in. You know, I wouldn't even want to be in a position where I got to hire and fire people. You know, that for me, being the most zenful person that you see out there, that's because I think my lifestyle is extreme in mellow conditions, you know, in a way that normal people can't understand, because normal people have way more stress in their normal lives, whether it's your job, your kids, your significant other, you fight, you know, traffic, whatever. People live with stress, and for me, that's like my spiritual goal, is to be on the lookout for stress, find it, deal with it immediately, get rid of it if I